Life has a way of throwing unexpected challenges at us. Sometimes these challenges come in the form of small obstacles, things that test our patience, our resilience, and our ability to move forward. But then, there are moments when life changes in an instant, leaving us with only two choices: to give up or to fight back. I know what it feels like to have everything taken away in the blink of an eye. To wake up one day and realize that the dreams you once had, the plans you made, and the person you used to be have all been altered beyond recognition. It is in these moments that self-belief becomes more than just a word, it becomes a necessity. Because when the world tells you that you can't, that you are not strong enough, that you are broken, it is your belief in yourself that becomes your greatest weapon. There was a time when I too felt lost, when I questioned whether there was any reason to move forward. It is easy to fall into despair when the future seems uncertain, when the pain feels endless, and when the road ahead appears too difficult to walk. But in that darkness, I discovered something powerful, something that changed my life forever. I discovered that true strength does not come from what we have or what we are physically capable of. It comes from within. It comes from the fire inside us that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how strong the storm outside may be. I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Think about the moments when you have felt defeated, when you have doubted yourself, when you have been told that you are not good enough, not strong enough, not capable enough. Think about all the times when the voice inside your head whispered that it was easier to give up than to keep fighting. Now, I want you to ask yourself, who was the person that lifted you up in those moments? Who gave you the strength to take another step, to try one more time? Was it the world around you? Was it the people who doubted you? No, it was you. It was your own inner strength, your own self-belief that allowed you to push through even when everything seemed impossible. The truth is, the world will always have opinion. There will always be people who doubt you, who tell you that your dreams are too big, that your goals are unrealistic, that your circumstances define your limitations. But let me tell you something, they don't. The only thing that truly defines you is your own belief in yourself. When you believe that you can, when you trust in your own strength, when you refuse to let negativity dictate your path, you become unstoppable. I stand here today not because life was easy, not because the road was smooth, but because I chose to believe in myself even when no one else did. And if there is one message I want to leave with you today, it is this: you are stronger than you think. You are capable of more than you imagine, and no matter what challenges come your way, you have the power to rise above them. So the next time you find yourself doubting your worth, the next time you feel like giving up, remember this moment. Remember that you have a choice. You can either listen to the voices that tell you that you can't, or you can listen to the voice within you that whispers, "I will." There was a time when I believed that strength was measured by physical ability, by how much we could do, how fast we could move, how effortlessly we could keep up with the world. But life has a way of redefining everything we think we know. Strength isn't in the body, it's in the mind. It's in the heart. It's in the unshakable belief that no matter how many times we fall, we will rise again. People often look at challenges as limitations. The moment something doesn't go as planned, they assume it's the end of the road. A failure in business means you weren't meant to succeed. A broken relationship means you weren't worthy of love. A physical setback means your dreams are no longer possible. But let me tell you something, limitations are not what hold us back. It is the way we perceive them that keeps us from moving forward. We live in a world where people are quick to define what is possible and what is not. They will tell you that certain things can only be done in a certain way, that success looks a specific way, that happiness can only be found in certain places, and if you don't fit that definition, you begin to believe that you are somehow less, that you are lacking, that you are broken. But the truth is, real strength is about breaking those definitions. It is about rewriting the rules. It is about standing tall even when the world sees you as weak. I know what it feels like to be seen as someone who has lost too much to dream again, to have people look at you with sympathy, as if your story has already been written, as if your potential has already been decided. And for a long time, I believed that too. But then I realized something: people only see what is on the outside. They see the struggle, the hardship, the limitations. What they don't see is the fire inside, the resilience that refuses to fade, the strength that isn't measured by physical ability, but by the courage to keep going. We all face moments in life that test us, moments that challenge everything we thought we were capable of. And in those moments, we have a choice. We can let our circumstances define us, or we can redefine ourselves. We can choose to believe that we are limited, or we can choose to believe that we are unstoppable. Because true strength is not in what the world sees, it is in what we know about ourselves. It is in refusing to let anything or anyone tell us that we are not enough. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when the weight of expectations, failures, and disappointments make you question your worth. And when that happens, I want you to remember this. Strength is not about having an easy path. It is about walking the difficult one with courage. It is about standing tall even when everything around you is falling apart. It is about believing in yourself when no one else does. So don't let the world tell you what you can or cannot do. Don't let challenges convince you that you are weak, and don't ever let limitations define your potential. Because strength is not about what you have lost, it is about what you still have within you. There is an incredible power that lies within each of us, a power that often goes unnoticed, hidden beneath doubts, fears, and the opinions of others. It is the power of self-belief. It is the quiet but unshakable voice inside that tells us to keep going when the world says to stop. The voice that pushes us forward even when the path is uncertain. And yet, so many people struggle to trust in themselves, to see their own worth, to recognize the limitless potential that has always been there. We are taught from a young age to seek validation from others. We look for approval in the eyes of our parents, our teachers, our friends, and society as a whole. We are told what success looks like, what happiness should be, and what is possible for someone like us. And when we don't fit into those expectations, we begin to question our abilities, our dreams, and even our own value. But the truth is, no one else has the right to define who you are. No one else gets to decide what you are capable of. That is something only you can do. I have met so many people who have given up on their dreams simply because someone told them they weren't good enough. They let a single failure define their entire journey. They let a single rejection convince them that they were unworthy. But here's what I want you to understand. Failure does not mean you are incapable. Rejection does not mean you are not enough. The only thing that can ever truly hold you back is the belief that you are not capable of more. Every great achievement in this world began with someone who believed in themselves, even when no one else did. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story started with a person who dared to trust in their own potential. And that potential exists in you too. The only question is whether you will believe in it. There will always be moments of doubt. There will be times when you question your path, when obstacles feel too overwhelming, when it seems easier to just walk away. And in those moments, I want you to pause and remind yourself why you started in the first place. Remind yourself of your dreams, your goals, the things that set your soul on fire. Because if you give up on yourself, who else will fight for you? The world can be harsh. People will criticize, they will judge, they will tell you what you can and cannot do. But their words do not define you. Their opinions do not determine your future. The only thing that matters is what you believe about yourself. And if you believe that you are strong, that you are capable, that you are worthy of success and happiness, then nothing can stand in your way. So I ask you today, what would happen if you chose to believe in yourself? What could you achieve if you silenced the doubts, ignored the negativity, and trusted in your own strength? Because everything you've ever dreamed of, everything you've ever wanted to become, is already within you. The only thing left to do is believe in it. Failure is a word that carries so much weight. It is something we all fear, something we try to avoid at all costs. From a young age, we are taught that failure is something negative, something to be ashamed of. We see it as a sign that we are not good enough, not capable enough, not strong enough. But what if failure was never meant to break us? What if failure was, in fact, the most powerful tool for growth? Every person who has ever achieved something great has failed, often more times than they can count. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not that they never failed, but that they never allowed failure to define them. They saw failure not as the end of the road, but as a lesson, a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey. The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. There was a time when I feared failure too, a time when I saw every setback as a sign that I wasn't meant to move forward. I wondered if the dreams I had were too big, that I was foolish for believing I could achieve more. And for a long time, I let that fear control me. But then I realized something. Failure only has power over us if we allow it to. It is not failure itself that holds us back, but the way we perceive it. Think about a child learning to walk. They take their first step, they stumble, they fall, but they don't stop. They don't sit there and decide that walking isn't for them. They get back up and try again and again and again until one day they are running. What if we all approached life that way? What if instead of seeing failure as proof that we are not meant to succeed, we saw it as proof that we are learning, that we are growing, that we are on the right path? Too often we allow failure to define our worth. We attach it to our identity, believing that if we fail at something, it means we are failures. But that is not true. A single failure does not define your entire journey. A rejection does not mean you are not talented. A setback does not mean you are not strong. It simply means you are human and you are in the process of becoming better. There will be times when failure feels unbearable, when it feels like everything you worked for has crumbled before your eyes, and in those moments you will be tempted to walk away, to settle, to believe that maybe this dream was never meant for you. But I want you to remember something. Failure is not a signal to stop. It is an invitation to keep going. It is a reminder that success is not immediate, that growth takes time, and that the greatest things in life are not achieved without struggle. If you look at the people you admire, the people who have changed the world, you will find one thing in common. They never gave up. They faced rejection, they faced criticism, they faced moments of doubt, but they kept moving forward. And that is what you must do too. Because failure is not what destroys dreams. It is the fear of failure that stops people from ever trying in the first place. So fail as many times as it takes. Stumble, fall, make mistakes, learn, grow, and rise again. Because every failure is not an end, it is a beginning. And the only real failure in life is the failure to believe in yourself. There is something truly powerful about a story. Stories have the ability to inspire, to heal, to connect people in ways that nothing else can. And yet so many of us hesitate to share our own. We think our struggles are too personal, our experiences too ordinary, our pain too insignificant. We convince ourselves that what we have been through doesn't matter, that our journey isn't worth telling, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Every person carries within them a story that has the power to change lives, not because it is perfect, not because it is extraordinary, but because it is real. The struggles we go through, the challenges we overcome, the lessons we learn, these are the very things that connect us as human beings. And when we find the courage to share them, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond what we can imagine. There was a time when I believed that strength meant keeping everything inside, that true resilience was about facing hardships silently, without asking for help, without letting anyone see the cracks. But the more I tried to hide my pain, the heavier it became. And then I realized something. Vulnerability is not weakness. It takes immense courage to stand up and say, this is who I am, this is what I have been through, and this is how I have grown. It is in that moment of honesty that real connection happens. We live in a world that often highlights perfection. Social media is filled with images of success, of happiness, of lives that seem effortless. And in comparison, our own struggles can feel like something to be ashamed of. But what we don't see in those images is the reality behind them. The failures, the doubts, the moments of despair. No one's journey is without pain. No one reaches success without hardship. The difference is in how we choose to share our truth. Every time we open up about our struggles, we give someone else permission to do the same. Every time we share our failures, we remind others that they are not alone. And every time we choose to be honest about our journey, we become a source of strength for those who are still searching for their own. Because sometimes all someone needs is to hear the words, "I have been where you are, and I made it through." There will always be people who doubt us, who judge us, who try to define us by our past. But their opinions do not matter. What matters is the impact we leave behind. What matters is the lives we touch, simply by being authentic, by being real, by refusing to hide the experiences that have shaped us. Because in the end, our legacy is not in how perfect our story appears, but in how many hearts it reaches. So never be afraid to share your journey. Never think that your struggles make you less worthy, less valuable, or less important. You never know who might be listening, who might find hope in your words, who might gather the strength to keep going simply because you had the courage to speak. Your story is a gift, and when you choose to share it, you might just change a life. Life is unpredictable. It takes us on journeys we never planned, through paths we never expected to walk. And often, when things don't go the way we hoped, we begin to believe that happiness is something out of reach, something reserved for those whose lives have followed a perfect script. But the truth is, happiness is not found in perfection. It is not something that waits for us at the end of an easy road. It is something we choose, something we create, something that exists even in the midst of struggle. For the longest time, I believed that happiness was tied to circumstances. That if life was good, I would be happy. If things went my way, if success came easily, if everything looked the way I imagined, then joy would naturally follow. But life has a way of teaching us lessons we never expected. And the greatest lesson I learned was that happiness is not about what we have or don't have. It is about how we see the world, how we embrace the present, how we choose to find light even in the darkest moments. There will always be reasons to be unhappy. There will always be something missing, something broken, something that didn't go as planned. If we spend our lives waiting for everything to be perfect before we allow ourselves to feel joy, we will be waiting forever. But if we shift our perspective, if we stop looking at what we have lost and start seeing what we still have, something incredible happens. We realize that happiness was never outside of us. It was always within us, waiting to be acknowledged. Gratitude changes everything. When we focus on what is good, no matter how small, we begin to see just how much beauty surrounds us. The warmth of the sun on our face, the sound of laughter, the kindness of a stranger, the love of the people around us, these are the things that make life meaningful. These are the moments that bring true joy. And when we start to appreciate them, we understand that happiness is not in chasing what we don't have, but in embracing what we do. People often ask, how can you be happy after everything you've been through? And my answer is simple: because I choose to be. Because I refuse to let pain steal my joy. Because I know that no matter what happens, I have the power to decide how I respond. And I choose to respond with hope, with gratitude, with a heart that refuses to be bitter. There will be days when it feels impossible to smile, when the weight of the world is too much to carry. And on those days, I want you to remember this: happiness is not about having a perfect life. It is about making the best of the life you have. It is about finding light even when everything seems dark. It is about believing that no matter how hard today is, tomorrow holds the promise of something beautiful. So don't wait for happiness to find you. Don't wait for circumstances to be perfect. Choose joy now, in this moment, exactly as you are. Because happiness is not a destination, it is a way of living.